Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sassuti. This is the Brian Darkwing Daily. And behind the boards, returning, is the broken one, Rob Povia. And we are brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. All right. Great thing about these high school girls, I get older, they stay the same age. We are right back into the saddle again, and the Flyers pulling off a win, 2-1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets in awesome fashion. A little bit of an odd situation, though, towards the end with the empty netter, which was kind of funny.
But pathetic.
Nonetheless,
actually, it's not really
though,
pathetic.
Nonetheless, though, it still winds up being a win for the Flyers, getting 2 points in the standings against those shit-eating Columbus Blue Jackets. Nothing like getting a win and pushing them down in the standings and pushing yourselves up to possibly, if everything goes according to plan from what we were saying off mic, particularly I believe it was either Brian or Rob, one of you were saying it, the Flyers could be staring at 1 point out of first place if everything goes according to plan.
Well, as of right now, the Washington game is still going on.
It is.
If Washington loses to Florida tonight and the standings stay the same, the Flyers will be 1 point out of first place.
Man, now who would have thought that, quite frankly, from a team of just a bunch of young bucks and some vets and a defense that has been a little suspect at times but shoring itself up, and goaltending that has been superbly suspect for the last 20 years. Luckily enough, they could very easily be staring at first place in the Metropolitan Division for the first time in history, by the way, folks. That would be the very first time they've ever accomplished this feat.
Oh, man, I'm still in shock and awe on how this team came together since December 3rd.
I know. It's amazing. They have not gone on an extensive losing streak, and they have not at any point in time looked like they were falling apart. They have just been able to rebound perfectly.
I don't know if this is the first team to ever do it. I'm sure it's not. But this Flyers team earlier in the year had a 10-game winless streak, and now they have a 10-game point streak after their win tonight.
I know. It's so amazing. It's so awesome. It's going to be so cool. So cool. By the way, we already got comments coming in. Just like David Roska did on Lazy Booking earlier tonight. Of course, he was showing his love and affection for the one Mandy Rose, which is understandable. If you are a WWE fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, just look her up. You'll understand why David Roska is completely obsessed with this woman. And Foolish Demon saying, wow, 4 chances for an empty netter, lull. And then he goes on to say, nice win, though. And you are correct, sir. It is a nice win.
It's a very nice win. It boggles my mind how unselfish these players are.
I know.
It really does.
An empty
Not
netter.
that it's a bad thing at all, but you have an empty net. You have one player, Sean Couturier, who's sitting on 29, who could have broken the 30-goal mark tonight, deciding to give it off to Filppula. Filppula's like, nah, I don't want it. You take it. And Couturier's like, no, you take it. Filppula, no, you take it. And they eventually lost the puck. But, they won the game 2-1. It should have been 3-1.
Should have been.
A win is a win is a win is a win. Doesn't matter. Win is a win.
It is. It is a win, and you know what? Quite frankly, the Flyers are in a better position for it. I love it. This is exactly what they need. They were down 1-0, and it was looking bad, but more importantly, the Flyers did rebound, got a 2-1 victory, and I believe this game was in Columbus, if I stand correct.
No, it was here.
It was in Philly. Okay, so it was in Philly, so even better. This is what happens when you do a show before you can, so you can't actually see the Flyers game in action. But anyway, with that being said, though, Flyers getting the win on home ice, defending it again, and very importantly, Petr Mrazek, welcome to Philadelphia, getting his first win as a Philadelphia Flyer, a move that was made because it absolutely had to be made with the unfortunate situation of Brian Elliott going down and being out for an extensive period of time, and Michael Neuwirth once again finding his way to the injury list. I have never seen a man who flirts and makes complete love to the injury list better than he does.
Hey, listen, man, I agree. Hands are tied. They had no choice. I would have been okay with rocking Alex Lyon, but, who do you get to back him up? Everyone's Carter Hart. No, you got to go out and you got to get somebody. But I'll give you this. Petr Mrazek was outstanding tonight.
He was.
He made a ton of great saves, not giving up very many rebounds, controlling a lot of the play. It's a shame. He should have had a shutout tonight.
He should have, but you know what? At the end of the day, though, Petr Mrazek, he's stepping into his new role in Philly, and he is taking it by the horn, realizing, you know what? I have a chance to make a fresh second start. I lost it in Detroit. I can get it back in Philly. And you know what? I think he's already made the right step in that direction.
No, I agree. The goal that I'm referring to was a goal by Artemi Panarin. Unfortunately, Flyers couldn't score on the power play there. Panarin came right out of the box. Gostisbehere made a terrible pass. Panarin wound up stealing the puck, having a breakaway, scoring. It's the only bad part of the night for the Flyers.
That is the only hiccup, but you know what, though? If that's your only hiccup, then you're doing something right, because how many people score when they come out of the box? It happens frequently. So you know what? At the end of the day, though, Flyers getting the win. They needed that win. They got themselves close to a first-place spot possibly in this division matchup, and if they can do that, that's so sweet for a team that many people thought was going to be mediocre, and I thought myself.
I thought mediocre. I thought they were just going to miss.
And at the end of the day, they could very easily lead a division that's sporting Washington, Pittsburgh, the Rangers, the Islanders, and the New Jersey Devils, and the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
I was right. Had to double check that one.
Speaking of the Rangers, we'll have to keep an eye out for this tonight. Rick Nash and Michael Grabner were not in the lineups tonight.
They were not, and you know what? That is true. Possible trade situation going on there. Oh, and by the way, probably wondering conspicuous by his absence is the Penguin lover himself, Mikey Klankov. You see what happened was Mikey has some throat problems because he was too busy blowing his team last week because they got a win on the Los Angeles Kings.
You got a sore throat? Oh,
but in all seriousness, though, Mikey, he'll get better. He'll be back next week. But anyway, so with that win, Flyers moving closer into position. Now the real question is to watch out for Washington. Currently, it is a 2-1 game for the Washington Capitals against the Florida Panthers. I hope Florida can play a little bit of a spoiler. They have been kind of surging back up into the standings. Will the Florida Panthers have enough? We'll see. They might have to make some moves at the deadline before they jump out and start to look at wild card positioning for them. With that being said, though, Flyers getting into their schedule. They got an interesting set of matches coming up, though, where the Flyers can really kind of take a little bit of a grasp here on the division, take some advantage moving forward. And they can start doing that while I bring up the schedule here for the Flyers.
And while you do that, I'm going to read off some of these comments that we're getting in on Facebook Live. Lots of them referring to our poll question, what kind of impact will Petr Mrazek make on the Philadelphia Flyers? Frank Vespi chiming in. Great win tonight for the Flyers. Hashtag the streak continues. Michael Chromiak, another W for the Fly Guys. Frank Vespi chiming back in. A great debut from Mrazek. Could possibly see him and Carter Hart make a nice tandem in the future. That's an interesting comment because I'm not necessarily sure that the Flyers will keep Mrazek after this year.
That's a very good question. It depends on what Mrazek does for the rest of the season. I mean, maybe you get rid of Neuwirth and you keep Mrazek to work with Brian Elliott, but that's the only thing I could ever see really happening if you want to keep Petr Mrazek.
Yep. And on top of it, Flyers, one of the conditions is if they sign Petr Mrazek after this year, they have to turn their 4th-round pick into a 3rd-round pick, so they'll have to give up essentially 2 3rd-round picks for Peter Mrazek.
You know, it's not the worst thing in the world, though. That trade really isn't bad, considering the fact that we were kind of caught between a rock and the hard place. They could have really tried to soak us, and I'm pretty sure they did. But Hexie, of course, working some magic there. I'm not too offended if they do re-sign Mrazek if he has a really good year to be a backup to Brian Elliott. Honestly, because that's
you might even be able to trade Brian Elliott
possibly
in the offseason during the draft if he plays well enough.
Yeah, possibly. So, I mean, it's not exactly like it's a bad trade or a bad deal. And for Peter Mrazek, you know, we'll see what happens as the season plays out. Can he have a very good impact on the team? I think he could. He could pretty much do what Brian Elliott and Michael Neuwirth were going to do for this team, which is stem the tide, which is exactly what we need him to do at this point in time. Because he's our number one starter at this current moment. He is our number one starter. So let's hope for the best. Sporting 3 goalies in 1 year. God, you know, that reminds me of a very interesting year. You remember 2011?
Yeah, when they went to the Stanley Cup final?
No, not 2010. I mean 2011. We had 3 goalies that year.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, we won a playoff series with 3 goalies. We were the first team to do it since the Detroit Red Wings did it way back in the 80s. Oddly enough, Peter Mrazek is coming from the Detroit Red Wings on that. But, we beat the Buffalo Sabres, which is always nice in my book. We beat them in 7, sporting 3 goalies. We had Bobrovsky, who was just a rookie at the time. We had
I think Boucher was still on that team.
Still around, and I think Michael Layton too. So
yeah.
So those were our 3 goalies at that time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Get to a couple more comments here real quick. Rob Povia, who's also sitting right here with us. Successful. Non-Kool-Aid answer, I swear. There's nothing Kool-Aid about it. And then we got Thomas Quintero. Hey, dude, going strong. Go Philly.
Hell yeah.
I'm on board for that one, Thomas.
And also we got Chuck's Marinin chiming in on the YouTube saying, can someone tell Voracek to please shoot? Oh, wait.
No.
We already do.
No. No. Chuck, no. He's not a goal scorer. He's a passer. He's got fucking, 67 points this year? He's only got 13 goals. The rest of them are assists. He's fine passing the puck. And we got Tom Arsenault chiming in. Definitely successful. Let's go. And then my favorite Canadian, James Wilder, chiming in. Let's fucking go. It's playoff time.
And we're speaking from our favorite Canadian. We'll get to our probably America's least favorite Canadian a little bit later on in the show. We're referencing the women's Olympic medal matchup, which I have some things to say about that show that was put on there at the very tail end.
We have Adrienne Barrett chiming in. She's got a couple comments here. Got to see Mrazek in person tonight, hoping for successful. Well, good for her. I mean, she actually invited me to go to the game tonight, but I couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. But she goes on to say something interesting about the Columbus goal. Just saw on Twitter that Mrazek didn't tap his stick on the ice as the Columbus power play was ending because he isn't familiar with the scoreboard and couldn't find the time left.
What?
Okay. No, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, that does.
Because I was watching that play. Provorov went to pass the puck across the blue line. Didn't even see him coming, out of the penalty box. Picked it off, went down, went top shelf over Mrazek. So there had to be a reason why Provy didn't know he was there. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, though. That's great.
That does make sense, though. And for those who are not educated in hockey too much, basically, if you ever see a goalie do this where he will slap his stick onto the ice, it's actually a signal because the team's down on the other end, so they can't see it. The box is emptying. So basically, somebody's coming back from a penalty or a major or whatever. That's basically a sign to the defense is do not pass it back because there's somebody coming out of the box.
Typically it's within the last 2 to 3 seconds of the power play. Greg Malakovich chiming in. What's up, fellas? Hopefully successful. I mean, if he's successful, we are due for a fun spring in this city, and I think we're going to get a fun spring regardless.
I think we are too, because this Flyers team is showing some staying power, and that was another thing that we were wondering: is they going to be consistent? Are they going to be able to hold a spot? Are they going to be able to compete with the rest of the teams? Because the Eastern Conference is top loaded with a lot of good teams, and the wild card race is one of the worst wild card races you could possibly end this year. If the Flyers can avoid it altogether and manage to, if not first place, because if they could take first place for a period of time, that would be awesome. Them holding first place, all right, that's a whole different story. But if they can manage to stay in the division standings and just avoid the wild card race altogether, like, That is an accomplishment right there. It's like you avoided the nightmare all around and just said, fuck it, we don't want to be in the wild card. We're going to take a division spot. I'm going to avoid that garbage immediately.
Got Ralphie D chiming in also. How about them Flyers, baby?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Flyers doing what they're doing best, and that is showing up at home and saying, hey, guess what? Columbus, you ain't shit. Just because you got our old goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky and you got John Tortorella behind the bench don't mean jack dick. We just defended home turf against your ass.
Fun fact. So, I know a lot of people watching at home, you see a lot of Eagles green going on around here. Well, since the Eagles won Super Bowl 52, the Philadelphia Flyers are 8-0-2.
Ooh, I think the Eagles have charmed a little bit of that surge from the Flyers here a little bit.
It's funny what winning does to a city.
It is true. Has anybody recently checked in the Sixers? How have they been doing
Oh,
this
they've
year?
been playing pretty well.
All right, so there you go. All right, then. I think we're on to something here. I think a championship fever, it's getting a little bit contagious.
They had an 11-game win streak followed up by, I believe, a 6-game concurrent winning streak. I'm not sure about that in the last game.
Yeah,
Damn,
as far as the Sixers go, I know the Sixers are playing well right now.
Well, winning breeds winning.
It does.
You know, it breeds a culture. And with hockey, it's going to have the most effect because hockey's such a game of confidence. And when you just have that air and that mojo in the building, it's very hard. I mean, it's very easy to outplay, opposing teams coming into your building.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's the one thing that people were being a little hard on with Alex Lyon was his lack of confidence playing at the NHL level. Oh, this guy, he can't play in the NHL. Right. He's not – no.
Okay.
No, the kid just needs some confidence. He got some in the Rangers game.
All right, listen. Don't jump down somebody's throat who has never played a single day in the NHL. See, that's – God, no matter what we do, there's always going to be somebody that just has to find a way to piss me off. What the fuck? Why would you jump down a kid's throat? He's never played in the NHL. Period. He's coming up from the AHL. You're not facing the top talent. You're facing the best farm talent, okay? And you very rarely see the best prospects down there unless you're a team that is way too top-heavy and has no room or has cap problems like the Flyers. You're not going to see the best talent down on that prospect team. For example, Anaheim, one of the worst teams in the AHL, is their affiliate. But you know what? That's because all their top talent is on the freaking Anaheim Ducks.
Well, for the most part, we still have some defensive players that are getting ready to come up. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah. You get my point. The point is it's like you're going to jump down his throat for having a bad game in the NHL. He's playing in the NHL. Give the kid a break. Give him a break. Let him grow. Can he be a solid enough player to where, okay, he's not going to be a starter, but he'll be a backup? Possibly. Yeah. Or could he be trade bait in the later run when Carter Hart starts to come around? Or if Stoley comes around? Sure. Yeah. Either way, it's a win-win. So why fucking complain?
Because some people want instant gratification, instant success. So, when they don't get it, they freak out. I mean, and it's just like that with every fan base, though.
It is. It's just, again, though, it's just like, please, can somebody just – it's right up there with Mikey telling me somebody said Mike Richards was a better player than Sidney Crosby. I mean, I don't think there's enough alcohol in the world that can make just –
And I said it was Mike Richards was better than Wayne Gretzky.
But either way, though, when you said that, oh, my God, I don't think there's enough alcohol in the world that can make you repress that memory and make it go away. Just like the fact that somebody is a Flyers fan who says that with competence, it's just the moment where you just throw your hands up. It's just like, that's it. I can't save the fan base. It's too late. They have already fallen down the pit of doom. I cannot save them before they hit the spikes. Philly dilly. Philly dilly. There we go.
We got a couple more comments real quick here on Facebook. Thomas Quintero, I learned something. Referring to our comment on the penalty kill and what happened with the Flyers' only goal let up. Timothy Hikethier? Dude, I hope I said your name wrong.
Here, let me see.
I hope I said it right.
Maybe
but he says Stanley Cup baby.
Yeah.
That might be pushing it. Give it a couple years.
All right.
2 years tops. I think they'll be a contender.
I love the confidence. I love that swag that you got coming out there. You're just saying, like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. Flyers are the best team right now. It's like, I love that. I love that confidence. That's what I like to hear. But let's just pull that back for a quick second here. It's like, as good as the Flyers are playing right now, the playoffs are a whole different story. That's going to be time. It's going to go to 11 by that point. Why doesn't it just go to 10? It's because this one goes to 11.
Right.
That's basically what the playoffs are.
And then finally, we got James Wilder chiming back in with, if the Jets meet the Flyers in the finals, I might crap my pants. # soul ripping.
I'd be right there with you, too.
Hey, listen, if the Flyers met the Ducks, I think I might be in the same boat.
You know what? Rob, real fast. If the Flyers made the Stanley Cup Finals this year, what would you do? Would you, just shit your pants, or would you just go on, a spree of some kind? What would you do?
I'd temper expectations. That's what I would do. No, I'd absolutely shit my pants. I mean, we're talking about this before the preseason. Would they be a wild card team? Which wild card would they fill? And, I had aspirations that if things went their way, and so far it has been, the Atlantic Division's been subpar, the Rangers have been beyond subpar, cleared some room. They snuck, they're sitting in that third, tied for second now. So 1 point behind the Capitals potentially with the outcome of that game. So, yeah, you know what I mean? I'd have to pinch myself. Absolutely pinch myself.
Dude, if that happened, I'd be like, oh, my God. How? I would have to – I would feel like an Eagles fan. How the fuck did this happen?
I'm already pinching myself, to be honest with you. I mean, people are going down like wounded soldiers, and yet the team still keeps on winning, and it really is just representative of how – balanced this team is with scoring. I mean, all last season they had 7 10-goal scorers. Already this season they have 10 with the prospects of more with Patrick's excellent play lately.
Yes.
With power play goal tonight, matter of fact, game-winning goal. So, the scoring's coming from very different ways. So, guys down, we got Simmons down 2 to 3 weeks. You got Konechny, who was a game-time decision. Hopefully he'll be back soon. They're still keeping it together, keeping it solidified, and Oscar's Lindblom kind of helps too.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely did. And that's go ahead.
I just got a very specific question I want to answer right now.
Sure.
Coming from a fellow Ducks fan. Richard Cazares, I hope I said your name right, brother. Do you think the Ducks will make the playoffs? Let's go Ducks. Yes, I really do. Ducks right now are playing great hockey. They're playing really good defense out in front of whoever's in net. I think the only thing that's going to stop them and really hurt them is Jonathan Gibson. Unfortunately, he's been day-to-day 7 times this year with minor injuries. I think that's the only thing that's going to hold him back. I mean, offense is going good. Everyone's getting healthy. They're starting to produce. Defense has been playing solid.
It's kind of become a recurrent problem with Gibson.
It is. It's making
Not
me worried.
quite, but
A little bit of a worry on the injury side. But do you think that maybe the Ducks should – before trade deadline ends, do you think they should go out maybe for a plug goalie?
No.
No?
No, I think, and he actually just commented back. Richard totally stole my answer. Ryan Miller. That's why you bring him in. He's a guy who's got playoff experience. He's experienced in the league.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Richard. It might have to be Miller time.
That would be the best way to kind of put the Band-Aid on the wound. Just put Miller in net. He can stem the tide. For everything that I say about Ryan Miller.
Just let Gibson get it healthy. Just let him take it easy for a little bit.
Give Gibby a chance to recover. If he recovers, then you can reap the benefits come playoff time. And that's the best time to reap those benefits. If Gibby comes back with this fire and this intensity, which a lot of young guys do. Fire, intensity, and he just can't be scored on. It's just then who's going to benefit the most? Well, I think we all know who's going to benefit the most. The Ducks possibly going to the Stanley Cup Finals because the team is more than capable of accomplishing this feat.
No, agreed. And they're sitting in third place in the Pacific Division right now, 11 points behind Vegas.
Yeah, so, there you go. Oh, and by the way, after you said that, I do want to say congratulations to you, Brian.
Oh, yeah, we finally beat the Knights.
Yes, finally. Yes. That monkey has gotten off of the Ducks' back. They have finally secured a victory on the Vegas Golden Knights, but not before the Flyers did in their home turf.
We are 1-3 against Vegas.
But you know what, though? I still found that funny how you guys, your teams didn't beat them, yet me and Rob's boys walk into Vegas, one of the toughest places to play this year, and we just walk away with 2 points like it was nothing.
You have to thank the fans that crowded that building. Yeah. The Flyers fans took over that building that night. I saw this viral video going on. It was sick going down the escalators. It was just a sea of orange. It was beautiful. I almost wait a minute, was this game at the Well?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it was the same thing. It was the same thing when Anaheim was out there the other night. Just nothing but orange and black. Orange and black as far as the eye could see. It literally sounded like when every time somebody scored, it was a goddamn home game.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it was loud.
Is it weird? The away crowd was outdoing the buzzer for every time the Golden Knights scored.
You know what else it is, too? A lot of teams visiting in the Vegas, they get, distracted, obviously.
A lot going on.
Hotel on the Strip, that's what boys are going to play. But when you're, as young as the Flyers are they even old enough to get in the casinos? No, I mean, they are.
I mean, to be fair, you're kind of right on that, though.
They obviously kept their nose clean, unlike a lot of other teams coming in there. But, certainly they've been traveling well this season, so that's been a plus and a feather in their cap and a reason why they're doing so well.
They are.
Yeah.
David Roska chiming in, the #1 Ducks fan next to you, Brian.
Damn right.
And saying, who should the Ducks get at the trade deadline? Well, I'm going to let you field this one here, Brian.
Oh, that's a tough question.
Or if anyone.
Could they use another defenseman?
I think they need a scoring winger.
Okay.
So maybe going out and getting a guy like maybe a Matt Zuccarello or Max Pacioretty.
What's
somebody
funny is
like
I was
that.
thinking of the same team, but I was thinking Shattenkirk instead.
God, Shaq.
But if that's what they need, winger, I mean, definitely Zuccarello's name's been in trade rumors.
Yeah, Zuccarello, Nash. I mean, I don't want Nash personally. I'd rather see maybe go after a guy like Pacioretty or Goaltending.
If they went and got Rick Nash, would you go out and buy a Rick Nash jersey?
No.
No.
I'm done buying current player jerseys. So I'm buying 2 more jerseys and then I'm done buying jerseys the rest of my life.
The jersey that he's wearing currently, if those who cannot see the number, it's a small jab at me and Rob, just a wee bit of
just a little one.
Just a tiny one, because if somebody hasn't put 2 and 2 together, it's
number
a C,
27.
It's a 27.
Captain.
For Flyers fans around, we all know what that means. It's the one and only Scott Niedermayer, who, for Flyers fan, brings up a lot of bad memories.
But for me,
for him, pleasant ones. See, we can love the 1 cup he won. The other 3, no. That's just
hopefully one more.
God, that's another thing that not enough alcohol in the world to repress those kind of memories. Wonderful. Oh man. So, yes, to get back into what we were talking about, which we went really off the rails there.
That's fine. It's all good.
This is what we do, by the way, for those who have not tuned in.
We're here for you guys. We're here for you.
Yeah, we are. We are in it for the fans. Screw us. We don't matter.
Gave him an answer.
No, screw our structure. You guys got questions? We're gonna answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep them coming in. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, Roska chimes in right at that moment. He says Rick Nash and James Neal to the Ducks.
I mean, I can see James Neal. I'm not sold on Rick Nash. I'm not. I don't think he'll fit the scheme.
I don't think Neal's going anywhere with how well Vegas is playing.
No, me neither. Are you kidding?
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think Vegas should fix nothing. I think
hey, listen, I'm with you.
Fine
I'm
on
with you.
One. Yeah.
Freaking 5 goddamn losses at home.
Oh God.
Jesus.
One of them belonging to the Flyers.
They already broke the record for points for an expansion team.
They have. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the games played. 40, 16, and 4.
I mean, just imagine. Like, you want to know what else I'd shit my pants at? Besides the Flyers making the Stanley Cup Finals and winning, I would shit twice. It would actually be if the Vegas Golden Knights actually managed to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, their very first year in existence.
This segment brought to you by Oops, I Crap My Pants. Kidding, though. You're right. I'd be right with you.
Yeah, we got Richard chiming back in. Do you think we should pull Roy back up?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is. Kevin Roy's been he's been a good player this year. Showed lots of good signs playing with the Ducks earlier. I mean, it's not really a spot for him at the moment, I don't think. I think all 4 lines are rolling right now. I mean, you still got to find a spot for Vermette to play because he's not playing every day. You got to find a spot for Wagner every day. I mean, hey, Richard, man, if you can think of a spot where you think he would fit, let me know, man, because I can't think of one. I think right now, don't mess with what's working.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really either. But actually, one thing I wanted to ask, because we never actually bring him up, is Kevin Roy related to Derrick Roy by any chance?
No.
No? Okay, I was just wondering, because Is Derrick Roy even still playing?
I think he's over in the KHL.
Okay,
or
so
he's playing over in Europe.
So he's not playing in the NHL anymore because the last time I saw him, he was still a Buffalo Sabre. So it's been a little while.
Yeah. And real quick, I just want to, I just want to wish a quick recovery out to Jaromir Jagr, who got into a nasty hit the other night playing over in Europe. He is concussed. He came up very bloody. He took a nasty hit to the head, and his head smashed against the glass. Ooh. Scary sight. Just want to send well wishes out to Jagr.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, hopefully that does not spell the end of him playing, because injuries like that could very easily end careers. So hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully Jagr will continue to thrive, and the mullet one himself continues to push himself forward.
Well,
yeah, for
Mr.
real.
Derrick Roy is a little busy right now playing for Team Canada in the Winter Olympics. I didn't realize
that's
that.
where he was.
Yeah, there we go.
I saw his name.
But you are right, though. I mean, normally he's playing his hockey with Linkopins, HC.
Oh, okay. So that's actually in the Finnish league.
Yes.
Linkopings. Okay, interesting. I don't think they're called Sim Ilga anymore. I think they changed the name of it. But either way, yeah. So there you go. The question answered. Keep them rolling in. Next up, Flyers. Their next matchup coming around will be the Ottawa Senators. And they're actually going to go out on the road to face Ottawa. This is going to be an afternoon game, so those always are tricky ones to deal with. But this has to be a win for the Flyers. I don't care. Like, the fact that you even lost to them in your own building is bullshit. I don't care how good the Ottawa Senators are playing. The Ottawa Senators are having a crappy year. Take advantage. Get the 2 points on them, and just send the bastards out on your review mirror. Just please do this. Do it for the fans of Philly, if not for me. Please, just do that.
Yeah, I mean, the Flyers don't really have much of a choice here, but they have to go out and they have to get this win. It's a huge win. You're spending 2 games in Canada. You got a game the 24th is what, Saturday?
I believe so. It is, yes.
Saturday against Ottawa, and then I believe they play Sunday or Monday against Montreal.
Monday. They play Monday, and they're going to be in Montreal for that. And that's not going to be an easy game, even though Montreal's not having a great year. We did have a tough fight with them in the last game, which we did manage to walk out of, but we were in Philly. So you're in the Bell Center this time.
The only upside is no Carey Price this time.
There is that. There is that positive. And Carey Price was a pain in the ass in that game, like he usually is. But in true Canadiens fashion, they lost to the Flyers.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there was no problem there.
This team is hot. You're going up against 2 of the worst teams in the league right now, and you got to absolutely 110%. You got to take advantage of these 2.
They do, because the next game they have would then be a home game against the Carolina Hurricanes, which, yes, the Hurricanes are having a pretty good year. Are they having a spectacular year? They could very easily do it. If they could make the playoffs before it's all said and done, they'll have a really great year for a team that most people thought was going to be bottom feeders. That's going to be a tough matchup, and that's going to be on Thursday. So you want to walk away with 2 wins in Canada, prepare yourself against Carolina, which is going to give you a fight, and then, because you got a real nasty game coming up next Saturday, you got to face Tampa in Tampa. So really all roads leading to Tampa. Get 3 wins. You get 3 wins. You can take the brunt of whatever the fuck you got facing you in Tampa. Because as much as I love this team's play, Tampa's going to be tough.
Well, with the trade deadline looming on Monday,
which it is, yes.
This could go one of 2 ways. Tampa Bay could either get stronger.
This is true.
Which I hear rumors of an Erik Karlsson possibly finding his way to Central Florida. Or it could get worse. They could ship some guys off, and it could really hurt in one of 2 ways. But you got the roads clear right now to go. Well, I mean, I guess they probably stay 8-0-2 with the next 2 games. But extend the win streak to 6 games, maybe 7, and then you got to face Tampa Bay. I mean, that's not bad.
I'm looking at it that way because of the simple fact that, and that isn't bad. But
and even the Flyers could still improve on Monday, too.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm only looking at it from the simple point of realism, because if you look at it, the 2 matches in Canada are winnable. The match against Carolina is winnable. You go up against Tampa, is it winnable? Yeah. If Tampa's not having the best day in the world, yes. But in the realistic form, Tampa is Tampa, and they are a nightmare to play against. And as good as the Flyers to play, and they're playing very well, we have to remember this team is not 100% finished in their they're still cooking. Let's just put it that way. Tampa is done. Tampa has already reached that golden brown. So you gotta be kind of ready. You gotta be ready for a possible ass kicking against Tampa. Possible. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, and I'm not saying it's guaranteed. But you're in Tampa. You're facing one of the best teams in the NHL. Be ready for this. It's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, that was going to be my question was, are they home or are they away?
They're
Not
in
that it
Tampa.
really matters.
It does.
But, I mean, I'm just saying because Tampa's just as good as home as they are on the road. They're just better at home, 26-1.
Again, though, Tampa, their team is set, whereas the Flyers are still working and getting everything together.
They're the favorite in my mind in the East to represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup.
So that's why
Hands down.
That's just like, you're facing Goliath. Can you be David? Yeah, possibly. Well, are you going to be? Well, realistically, right now, out of all the teams in the East,
Flyers are one of the hotter teams in the East. They're hotter than Tampa right now.
They do have a better shot than most teams at being David. It's just hard because, again, Tampa's that kind of team. If they get in a groove, forget it. If Vasilevsky gets in a groove, forget it. You're just not going to win. I'm only saying that being realistic. I'm not trying to put the blinders on saying, oh, yeah, we're crushing everybody. It's like, yes, we're crushing opponents that are on our level. So let's keep that in mind,
Dude, crushing opponents, whether it's on your level or not, is going to get you points in the standings.
It's going to get you far. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I am not upset about that. But I'm just saying, roads leading to Tampa, you got a tough matchup there. You do face Florida after that, and Florida has been playing a little bit of spoiler, so, keep an eye out on them. So those are the future games that the Flyers have coming up. So really, the big matchup is going to be them versus Tampa. But in between that,
just a score update. Capitals blew that lead and lost 3-2, so the Flyers are 1 point out of first place.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
This is great. Flyers are on a hot streak, and everybody else just decides to go cold at that moment. That is
fortunate time.
Flyers are now officially 1 point out of first place entering tomorrow.
That is all right. Right there alone. If we don't take first place, but we got 1 point close for this team still making the playoffs in the division standings, you could say right there the season was a success because just of that alone, that they were 1 point away from pushing the Capitals, who have been up there for quite some time at number one of the division, and almost pushed them down. That would be a success in and of itself that we almost managed to pull that off.
You're just increasing your probability of a first-round successful win by either facing a more common opponent or at the very least getting home ice advantage.
Well, I mean, like I was saying earlier on in the year, this I'll get to this comment in a second. Oh, man, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, Robert Butts chiming in saying everyone else says, not my pen, slow down there, bruh. Because, I mean, Penguins are playing just as good as the Flyers are right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
No, all right. I'll give you that one. All right. Yeah, like I said, there is a reason why Mikey's not here. But, I mean, hey, Pittsburgh's playing well. But if it comes down to it, and the Flyers are playing well too, that playoff series may not be so one-sided as people may think.
I think that's going to be a very good series if that winds up being it. I think that'll be fun.
It might be actually possible the Flyers could pull an upset. And if that happens, I might shit my pants then. I was just like, holy shit, we just beat Crosby, and we would probably had no shot of doing it beforehand. Like, holy crap, we did it again. We did it in 2012. We did it again. That would be so awesome, actually.
Robert goes on to say, LOL, I miss him.
The thing of it is, though, another advantage in facing the Penguins is they've played a lot of hockey over the last 2 years.
That is true.
Remember my point now.
True.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
So, they played a lot of West Coast teams early in the year, which, honestly, you can say what you want. Oh, bullshit scheduling, blah, 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 all that other bullshit. But, now the Flyers are playing the Metro Division more now. So that's going to get them, one, a possibility of seeing more points coming or gaining points and gaining stature in the standings.
4-point games, yeah.
Right. And then, it gets you a little bit more familiar with these teams heading into the playoffs.
And that's the best part of it, too, because like I said before, because here's the thing. The last game we played against Pittsburgh, even though it was a loss, it was a terrible loss, really it was very evenly played in the first period. It only took 4 minutes, though, for the Penguins to turn it around and get like 3 straight goals. But if the Flyers can avoid making those kind of mistakes and play even keel with the Penguins like they did in that first period, which was completely even, there was no one team that had the advantage in shots or hits or anything. If they can do that and manage to muster that kind of first period against the Pens in a 7-game series, that's a coin toss series right there. It could go either way. The Flyers could just as easily upset the Penguins as the Penguins could defeat the Flyers, if they can muster that and pull that off. So I'm just saying, Pittsburgh fans should not sleep on the Flyers. I know there's probably plenty of them that aren't. There are probably some that are because they're still, smelling themselves over winning 2 straight cups. But I'm just saying, don't sleep on them because the Flyers are showing a lot of what they got and what they're capable of. If they can keep it consistent like they have been, all right, Pittsburgh, you want to win 3, earn it. Earn 3.
Okay, I want to read off a couple of these comments real quick before we go to break. Robert continues to say they could, but they can only play so many more games than everyone else. Chrome chiming in. Mrazek, I think, makes more of a success. I don't know what I expected them to be in this position with the goaltending inconsistencies they've had, but I think this team is on the upswing and the upswing of the rebuild, and Mrazek gives them a much better shot at winning a round or 2 in the playoffs.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, just to chime in before you read off my comment about a non-Kool-Aid pick, I mean that because I've been a fan of Mrazek for a while. He's drafted in the 5th round by the Red Wings, not really highly sought after, but man, did he develop in juniors and AHL, especially with the glove hand, moving quick post to post. He's not a big goalie. He's not an imposing guy, but very quick, very calm, cool, and collective, and you saw that tonight against the Blue Jackets. Now, albeit, yes, was he spectacular tonight? No doubt about it. I still want to see more from him. It's only 1 game, and it's against a team. Get this fact, guys. I've never seen this before. The Blue Jackets are in the top 3 in shots on goal in the NHL, yet they're in the bottom third of the league in goals scored. How does that happen?
Bad quality shots.
Right. Right.
And you saw that the entire game tonight.
Right.
It's just the shots they were taking were bad shots.
I mean, John
Off
Tortorella,
angle, yep.
To be fair, though, John Tortorella's teams actually have a habit of that when you look at it. I mean, think about it. The Tampa Bay Lightning, even though they won the Stanley Cup, they took like shots that made no freaking sense. They also took shots with the New York Rangers for the longest time. They had a good offensive unit, but they had one of the worst goals for that you could possibly imagine, even though they had Henrik Lundqvist in goal. Right. How the fuck does that happen when you have one of the best goalies of this era in net, yet you can't even get out of the first round? You know, that's pretty bad in a lot of ways.
And like to Brian's point earlier, they did get him awfully cheap. You know, at most this year it's going to cost you a 2nd-round pick next year, more than likely a 3rd. And I don't think they're going to re-sign him either because then you give up another conditional pick for re-signing him. And with the depth on this team. Now, albeit, if he takes you on a wild playoff run where even like a healthy Elliott and Newby can't even get back in the lineup, then we're talking a little different. Then it's almost like a Nick Foles conversation.
Well, the moment that we have that conversation, though, I would say if they manage, and this is a pipe dream right now, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, if they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose, and Mrazek was the guy at the helm, that's when you debate it. That's when you say, all right, who do we go? I mean, Neuwirth's got to be the odd man out because he keeps getting hurt.
And, Matt, it could happen, man, because people were down on him based on his inflated numbers this year, but look at what's happened to that Red Wings team since Babcock got out of town, especially on the defense.
Oh, yeah.
A very crappy defense in front of a goaltender is going to make the goaltender look bad. You shift to Philly, a far better defense, a younger defense in front of them. This very good match. Just another great transaction by GM Ron Hextall.
I mean, and if we, again, like there's just the sky seems to be the limit right now for the Flyers. And they're only getting younger, which is even better news, which is just like the team's not even like old. They're still so young, and they still have young guys that are still down in the Phantoms that are waiting to come up. Guys like Sam Moran, guys like they're still in the chamber. We have not fired on them yet, and that is just coming. But once Andy McDonald is finally gone, and I will gladly pack his fucking bags, like once he is gone, then we could finally start putting this thing in motion. Finally. Oh my God. I almost like it's almost orgasmic to see Andy McDonald leave Philadelphia finally. Like, get the fuck out of Philly, please. For God's sakes, McDonald, just get the fuck out and please don't ever fucking come back. No, unless you're coming as a tourist to see the Liberty Bell, I don't want you anywhere near Philly ever again. Especially on an ice rink.
Got a couple more real quick here. Dan Bakley chiming in. Did you hear Mrazek say that he usually taps down on the ice to let players know the power play is over, but not used to the Wells Fargo screen, so he wasn't able to do it, and it just led to the Jackets' only goal?
Yeah. That was pointed out earlier by your girl, right?
Yeah.
Your friend,
yeah. No, you're good. You're right.
Yeah,
yep.
You're right. Yeah, I was agreeing with you. But it was, but yeah, I mean, I just thought that's kind of goofy though when you think about it though. That's like oh, well, all right, that happened. That's kind of like what you have to say if you're Mrazek. Well, shit, that happened. All right, well, I'm a little different. Not the joke.
Well, I mean that new screen in Detroit is just something spectacular.
It's like when the Dallas Cowboys revealed their new stadium and they had the giant ass screen right smack dab in the middle of it in a football stadium. Yeah. Like, kind of distracts you though from watching the fucking football that's happening in front of you. But anyway, so with that being said, we will head to break, and when we come back, we will talk more about the Flyers, and we will talk about a certain possible, depending on what side you're taking here, of an unsportsmanlike conduct that was done at the end of an Olympic matchup between the women's gold medal game between the United States and Canada, the biggest rivalry in women's hockey today. But we will talk about that on the other side. But first, we'll talk to you about Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accounts located in 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You give them a call, 215-369-3300. Hey, remember, there are a few guarantees in life, and taxes are sadly one of them, and that season is here. So be ready, be prepared. Get Gibson Mayer. Damn, Mikey's not here. I can't hit him. But anyway, when we come back, more hockey on the other side on a2dradio.com.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com. You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. Hey, Columbus, Philly 316 says, I just whipped your ass. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BMW Valencia Studios here in Mountie from New Jersey. And we are brought to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. You give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net. Or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. All right, so
I'm excited.
So you told me
I'm
that
excited.
there was breaking news, and you told me I wasn't gonna like it. All right, come on, you sick bastard.
All right,
go
here
ahead,
we go.
hit
Here we
me
go.
with it.
We have a trade that just came in
All right,
involving
all right.
one of the guys that we talked about earlier.
Was it Rick Nash?
No.
Was it Michael Grabner?
Yes.
All right, what?
The Rangers have traded Michael Grabner to the New Jersey Devils for defenseman Igor Rykov and a second-round pick. Oh, it's one of those situations where the rich get richer, isn't it? Yeah.
By rich, you mean scum-sucking pieces of shit, then yes. But what the hell? Oh, really? Does he have to go to... Wait a minute. Hold on. The Rangers traded somebody good to the Devils?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with them?
They're rebuilding.
I get that, but it's your rival. You don't want to make your rival better.
Apparently they don't care. They got a second-round pick and defenseman prospect Igor Rykov out of it.
All right. I'm just saying, like, I'm kind of... All right. Watch that come
30
back.
years old, so I mean it won't be. Well, I mean,
No, it's not huge. It's not like they're trading like somebody like Chris Kreider over there or somebody like that.
You know what? At the end of the day, though, you know what? As long as the Devils continue to go on their downward spiral, quite frankly, I don't give a shit. You know what? Go ahead. Take all the old Rangers you want. Just flood your team with old Rangers.
Yeah,
it's not
old
like
Rangers that just scored 30 goals last year.
All right, whatever. So what? He's on the Devils now. It's a different story. He was on the Rangers last year. He's got to see if he fits in the system. And he doesn't steal Taylor Hall's spotlight, which got him sent out of Edmonton.
You guys
but
think
anyway.
Flyers would be making any more moves before the deadline?
Oh,
I do.
I mean, possibly. It depends on what the move is because, again, cap. That's the major problem that the Flyers run into every time when it comes to making any kind of trade.
Well, I think the Flyers can. Well, I mean, Ron Hextall's a goddamn magician.
He has been.
To be completely honest with you,
he has been.
He got Hartnell's contract traded away. He got Pronger's contract traded away. I mean, not that it matters anymore because he's officially off the books for everybody. But
it doesn't matter. But still, now.
I mean, you could probably see him maybe making a trade for like a bottom six winger who can score 10 to 15 goals a year.
Fine, as long as he adds more secondary scoring, that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
We could actually. You know what? Quite frankly, if the Rangers are going to sell to the New Jersey Devils, then why the fuck not just call the Rangers now? Just like, hey, you want to sell us a third line right winger? We'll take.
Hey,
him.
listen, if you're going to call
seriously.
the Rangers in the Flyers situation right now, if you're going to call the Rangers, I would try and get Ryan freaking McDonough.
If we could get Ryan McDonough, that'd be awesome. Because you know what? If they're willing to trade with the Devils, they're willing to trade with anybody. And that means us, too. So you know what? Fucking call him. I want Ryan McDonough on this team. I don't give a flying fuck if we only have him for 2 seasons. As long as he has...
2 seasons is enough to teach the young guys what they need to know.
That is my point. That is exactly the reason why I would love to have Ryan McDonough on this team. See him captain the defense instead of that shitbird Andy McDonald. Please.
Mikey's chiming in. Sorry, Mikey. I'm not ignoring you, dude. He's chimed in a couple times. Let's go USA, but mainly he's been saying let's go Pens.
All right, I agree with the USA part. Whatever the hell with the Ducks. I mean, with the Penguins.
Over on
not
the
Ducks.
tube, Tristan Fowler chimed in. I guess it was kind of piggybacking off of the discussion before the break. She goes, man, the Red Wings suck. I hope Mrazek plays well in Philly.
I mean, he definitely can, and so far he's showing that he will. And also, Chuck Moranin says Mrazek can definitely be successful, which he can be. And David Roska chimes in, Rob, you are funny. I'm not sure what he was commenting on from what you said.
Probably funny looking, yeah.
Okay.
Funny like a clown? Or am I here to amuse you, David Roska?
Yeah. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Kind of am. Local punching bag, Rob Povia. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
You too?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not the only one in the world.
But
you're the West Coast
I
punching
mean,
bag. Then.
With these injuries, I mean, Simmer being out for 3 weeks, I mean, Konechny should be back in the lineup hopefully next game. I mean, he was like, game time decision. He did participate in the pregame skate, so that bodes well for, quick return for TK. But with Simmer out, I mean, do you go out and get another forward?
I think you do. I do. Like I said, got to be a bottom six guy. Maybe you can get somebody to take that Weiss contract. Maybe like throw in a high pick up there. Maybe throw that in there. Maybe entice a little bit.
Possibly.
I mean, if there's a team that's out there that's in full rebuild mode that will take bad contracts for the meantime, might as well try. Especially if you're going to give them a draft pick in there.
Well, I think there's a couple different ways you could go because. I mean, Konechny said, like I said, should be back soon, and that will put Patrick back on the number 2 power play line. I mean, he was great tonight on that number 1 line, but you kind of stretch yourself too thin where you make your second unit a non-factor there. But if you can get another talent there, that would be good, especially some guy in front of the net presence that Simmer was giving you. I think that would be good. Also, I mean, the Flyers have been fortunate, and this game tonight was the first game in 3 games that they actually had to kill a penalty. Because they've been playing very disciplined hockey considering they're 28th in the league in their penalty kill. So, getting a penalty killer would be nice as well.
That actually would be that would be a smart move for them. So that way they can just kind of get themselves set in the right direction and get themselves moving forward on that one. That could probably aid them in the long run towards picking things up, putting the pieces together on that one. So, with that being said, keep the comments rolling in, of course. As always, we love interacting with you guys, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Please feel free to keep on chiming in. Now we're going to go to the scores here on the NHL, see what's happened tonight and what is continuing to happen tonight. currently in the Western Conference matchups. The Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers are in the third period right now, tied at 2 apiece. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers kind of really not fighting for much unless they can get a second half surge out of nowhere, like a touch from God surge, and they can get themselves in a wild card contention. But the Avalanche fighting for a lot, can remain in the wild card and want to continue owning the wild card. Maybe even bump themselves up to the division if they can. And right now it's a 2-2 game for them. And meanwhile, the Calgary Flames and the Arizona Coyotes are battling out in the third period. About 19 minutes left to go on that one. The Calgary Flames have a 3-1 lead on the Coyotes. That does not surprise me by any stretch of the imagination. Johnny Hockey scoring, of course, Johnny Gaudreau getting his 20th goal of the year, and Sean Monahan getting another power play goal, 28th of the season. My God, this kid, whew, man, he's going to crack 30 before this season's over. He might get possibly into the late 30s if he keeps this up.
I like what Calgary has going on over there. I mean, obviously, Johnny Hockey, Sean Monahan, and, Michael Freeland has been a revelation this year on that second line as well. I mean, I've often played him in DFS this year. It's kind of a hit or miss type. Yeah, you know me, degenerate. But so that's why I'm familiar with the scenario. But I mean, he's definitely been key on the power play.
That is true. Stars and Kings currently scoreless in the first period between the two of them. I know that Brian would have loved to have heard that the Stars are scoring against the Los Angeles Kings right now, because anytime the Kings go down, it's a good day for Mr. Brian Daly. You really don't hate them? How do you not hate them?
I don't like them, if it makes you feel any better.
Well, how do you not hate them? All right. Maybe, you know what? All your hatred is reserved for the Knights. Never mind. All your hatred is being reserved for the Golden Knights and Zach Cassian.
No, because there's always – I don't know. I just –
Okay, I gotta ask. All right. No, we're gonna do this. You have caused me no other recourse but to do this. What people do you hate? What team do you hate in the NHL? Please, Brian, give me an answer, because I hate plenty of people in the NHL. I hate Sidney Crosby. I hate Taylor Hall because he's a Devil. I hate the New Jersey Devils. I will officially have even more hatred for Michael Grabner now because he's a New Jersey Devil. I hate the New York Rangers, even though they can suck ass right now. Hell, I'm starting to slowly become a hater of the Washington Capitals, but not too much. And, of course, as always, I hate Gary Bettman. So, please. Oh, and I hate the Buffalo Sabres. Please, now tell me, Brian, who do you hate in the NHL? And the Boston Bruins. I almost forgot them.
I mean, I can't
forget them.
I kind of hate them.
You kind of hate the Bruins?
Yeah.
All right. Kind of hate, or do you hate? Come on.
I kind of hate. Because I'm not a huge fan of Zdeno Chara, and I don't like Brad Marchand.
Well, no one likes Brad Marchand. And Zdeno Chara, kind of a glorified grinder when you think about it.
Brad Marchand's mother doesn't even like Brad Marchand.
I love that. There's a good shots fired. I like that one. Nice.
I don't really hate the Devils as much anymore because they have a bunch of players that I like, that I think are going to be really good in this league. Guys like
just because you're
Jesper
West Coast.
Bratt.
Just because you're West Coast, you don't have to deal with the fuckers on a daily fucking basis.
I mean, I'm okay with Joe Thornton and the Sharks. I'm okay with everybody but Dustin Brown on the Kings. I just don't really hate teams. I hate players.
Okay, so all right, is your number one hated player, is it Zach Cassian? Currently?
Probably, because I'm so sour about last year.
I love the It's like he just has no oomph to the hatred. It's such a West Coast mentality. You truly are an Anaheim Ducks
you know what?
fan.
Stop breathing your hate.
You know what? Hold on, a couple comments to read off here real quick.
All right.
Mike Parker, Philly on fire. One loss Sixers and Flyers combined since February 4th, when something else really cool happened. Oh yeah, all the green, Eagles won the Super Bowl.
They did.
James Wilder chiming in on our conversation.
As always.
James, you are the man. I love you very much. He hates the Maple Leafs.
All right.
He hates Sidney Crosby.
Okay.
He hates the Maple Leafs. He hates Radko Gudas, and I'm with you on that one. I despise Radko.
See?
He goes on to say, did I say the Leafs? No, you missed the Leafs. And lifting the skate offside rule. Yeah, that hurt Anaheim the other night, but Ducks still won, so good there. But yeah, I'm with him on that one. I can't stand that rule.
Yeah, that is a weird rule. That's a rule they really do need to look at. Honestly, if there's one rule they need to tweak in the offseason, it's that rule. I will say that. It's a weird rule because it's so subjective.
It's very subjective.
When you look on the replay, it is extremely subjective. It's like, was his skate off the ice? Was his skate hovering above the line? It's like even from the angle you look at, you can't really tell, especially if it's just a slightly tilt. How the fuck are you supposed to be able to see that?
All right, so real
true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and
we don't get to see that though.
We don't get to see that
I would
until
love
after
to
the
see
ruling.
that. Yes, I would love to see that.
So, Rickard Rakell had a goal taken off the other night against Vegas because his skate was lifted on an offsides. And it was literally the slightest bit off the ice, not even an inch.
Again, subjective. It's just like, what? It depends on who your ref is. It's just like when it comes down to who the ref crew is, the rule needs to be tweaked.
It's not even that. I think as far as offsides goes, you shouldn't be able to review it. Because it's literally like, I understand that you want to get the calls right and you want to make sure they're right. But, 5-6 years ago? You know how many guys were just offsides, still scoring goals because of human error and human judgment? I mean, that's what offsides needs to be.
I
have no problem reviewing scoring, but when you're offsides, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when it's
the same
after the goal is scored.
It's the same problem with goaltender interference. What's goalie interference? We ran into this problem last year, where players were either tapping, just slightly tap the pad of the goaltender, and the goal wound up scoring 2 seconds later. Oh, that's goaltender interference. Goal's revoked. That's horse shit. But yet when you knock into the goalie, but you were pushed into the goalie, that doesn't warrant goaltender interference? Are you shitting me right now? Because the defender could have easily just said, all right, he's going to take one for the team, and thrown him into his goalie.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so that doesn't warrant goaltender interference, but a slight tap of the pad because the guy wasn't hit, that warranted? It's another one of those subjective rules that the NHL absolutely needs to take a look at.
I swear Bill Clement was just about to curse the other night on the game because they're just so frustrated on what every time they go to think it's going to go one way, it goes the other way.
Yeah. It's just like even the refs probably don't know at this point. Like if the refs can't tell what the rule is, just get rid of it. Just retract the rule. It doesn't work. And plus it slows the game down. Right. That is the one thing you don't want to do to hockey is slow the game down. If you're slowing the game down, it's pointless, it's stupid, and it wastes everybody's fucking time. Don't fucking do it.
Synonymous with what's a football move or what's a catch in the NFL.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, actually, that's funny because I think during the Super Bowl there was wasn't there a touchdown recalled because of that?
It wasn't recalled, but they reviewed it. It was Zach Ertz.
Yeah, it's just like good God Almighty, just like you're really reviewing this? Back like 2 years ago, this would have just been a touchdown, hands down, no question about it. Like, please, can somebody stop the tweaking of the rules and just get it fucking just. It's this, and we're not changing it. It's going to stay this way. Deal with it. Please deal with it.
Got Dean Jones chiming in, and I agree with this 100%. Flyers have such a bright future.
They do. They absolutely do, and it is as bright as this spotlight we got right on us right now.
A little warm
love
too.
It is. It is. It is. But that's because you're wearing the sweater. That's why.
It's true. It's a beautiful thing.
It is pretty.
Thanks.
Yeah. What Rob meant to say is because it was on Brian. But anyway.
Duh. Anything on me.
Don't put words in my mouth.
All right. So back to.
Wow, don't I feel special?
Don't worry. It ain't going to last long because I'll rip you at some point.
I don't know if I like that face you're making.
I don't know. Was I even making a face?
Yeah, yours like that.
Rob's just like, fuck you, man. This is my face.
I'm on hour 18. I'm surprised I'm conscious.
Good God. So you know what?
Listen, I'm surprised I'm conscious. I've been sleeping all day. Sort of.
Sort of. How do you sort of? Like, what, were you just sleeping and people were interrupting your sleep?
No, I was
sleeping at, like, the bus terminal?
No, I was doing stuff today, and I took a nap before the Flyers game started.
Oh, okay. That'll do it. That'll do it.
So that was me sleeping all day.
Oh, I see.
Nice 45 minutes.
So back to the scores here. The Maple Leafs winning in a shootout against the New York Islanders on that one. And I believe It doesn't say who the winning goal. You know, the NHL could at least put on their website who the winning goal scorer was in the shootout, but whatever. So the Maple Leafs win against the New York Islanders in a shootout 4-3, and they take an extra point in the standings. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry I had to tell you that, bud, but yeah, it happened. Anyway.
I think he'll survive.
Yeah,
He's a tough
I
guy.
think so too. Yeah, he's strong. He'll make it through. He watches hockey, so he'll just shrug it off, like the Geico commercial show. Stick goes through the arm. Whatever, just a twig. Anyway, the Minnesota Wild versus the New Jersey Devils. The Wild defeating the New Jersey Devils 4-2. That's a beautiful thing. Eddie Lack taking another loss, adding it to the shit ton of losses that have trifled his career. Taylor Hall did get a goal. So did Nosen, whoever the hell that is. I don't give a shit.
Is that Hall's 26th or 29th on the year?
That is his 26th.
26. I thought it was one or the other, just flipping the 6 and the 9. I mean, what a remarkable year from Taylor Hall. I mean, of course, we don't want to give him love, but you got to give him a little bit of love with the Devils. Just imagine if Edmonton had hung on to him and then playing with McJesus.
No.
That's where I was going with it.
I got it. I love the McJesus.
Yeah.
But nah, I'm not even going to give Hall credit. Once you're a New Jersey Devil, you have lost all credibility to me. You are no longer a legitimate player in the NHL. Fuck you. Yeah. Simple as that. That's how I feel about that.
He's a former Duck. Stefan Nosen, sorry.
It was Stefan Nosen.
Nosen.
Okay, it was Stefan Nosen. Wait a minute, he wasn't in that trade, was he?
Nah, you got
I
claimed off
didn't
of waivers.
think so. Yeah, that's right. But damn, yeah, that was a while ago though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Really?
Not even 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right, whatever. Still illegitimate because he's a devil. Anyway, moving on.
Erroneous.
Yeah. The Flyers winning against the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1. Hell yeah. And now on to the Montreal Canadiens versus the New York Rangers. The Rangers, again, taking a loss as a team that is rebuilding. This is no surprise. The Canadiens getting a win, 3-1. They got to do something this year because, quite frankly, it's not like they're going to be making the playoffs. They got to say, hey, we beat the New York Rangers. Congratulations. You're beating a team that's rebuilding. Nice job, guys.
Thomas Plekanec possibly scoring his last goal as a Canadian. He's been put on the trade block as well.
All right, well, I mean.
I'd take a Plekanec.
I would take a Plekanec. Yeah. That's not a bad move.
Good two-way player.
Actually,
good two-way player. He can play the wing. He's really good at face-offs.
Strangely enough, though.
Great penalty killer.
You know what? Actually, that might not be a bad idea for Anaheim to look at him.
I'd rather have Pacioretty.
I got you, but it wouldn't be a bad option, though.
No, not at all.
He'd be like a plan B if the plan A doesn't work out.
Hey, listen, I'd be happy with Plekanec, but we got plenty of face-off guys. We got plenty of good two-way players.
But you could play the wing, so you can go and use them.
Got some history with Dale Weiss.
That's right. He does have history with Dale Weiss. Yeah, you know what? That may not be a bad move for the Flyers to go ahead and go get Plekanec. I'd love to have Plekanec in the Flyers jersey. Why not? Help us bolster our lines for a playoff run. Next up, Tampa Bay Lightning defeating the Ottawa Senators in a very close game, surprisingly, though, 4-3. The Tampa Bay Lightning did not have their starter in. They had Dominique in goal, getting the win, and Craig Anderson taking the loss. Unfortunately, that's kind of been the season all rolled up into one for the Ottawa Senators, man. Just the lack of that. Although they've been boosting themselves back up, they're still 21, 29, and 10, though. It's not been a solid year for them at all.
How can you take a goaltender seriously that has a stripper's name, really?
Dominique.
Yeah. Now entering the stage, Dominique.
Dominique. The delicious Dominique. All right.
I'm not touching that one. You boys are on your own.
Oh, come on. God, man. You just don't want to join in the humor. What is wrong with you?
Not enough, apparently.
Damn West Coast mentality. First it's the I don't really hate anybody in the NHL. Although I do despise Rocco Gudis, I'm not going to show it or demonstrate it here on the show, even though I have every right and liberty to do so.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely have.
You don't do it routinely. You should do it routinely.
No, stop
like
it.
I do. You always see me bash the Devils.
I can't
every
bash him right now
chance
because
I
he's
get.
only had 3 freaking penalties since he got suspended.
Daly, make him your Maddie's Luke Shed.
You should.
Every show he would bitch about Luke Shed.
I would.
But what can I really say right now? The guy's been playing disciplined hockey.
Yeah,
I can't rip him for anything right now.
Which I will give Racco a big hand for doing. That takes a lot for him to do that.
Plus, plus, he just always gets the puck on net from the blue line.
He
I mean, he doesn't have
does,
the greatest shot, but it's accurate all the time, and it's very deflectable.
I think that's exactly why he does it like that. He doesn't put everything into it. He just throws it on net. Just throw it on net.
Right.
All right. And
Good things happen when pucks are thrown on net.
We want to bitch about Gudas. We want to bitch about Andy McDonald. But, I mean, they do make contributions. And when they're not in the lineup, you feel it. You know what I mean? So at least they bring that presence. And, I mean, are they making mistakes, turning pucks over? Sure. But they bring a lot to the game, to the ice as well.
They do, but you know what? I'd still say get McDonald out of here, and please either bring up Sam Moran, and if you're going to do short-term plug, just go get Ryan McDonough. I'd rather have him being the captain of this freaking defense, please. Please.
Chrome agrees with you, by the way. He just commented in, screw the Devils. And Dean Jones comments in, Hackstall Coach of the Year. Seriously? Maybe not Coach of the Year. He should definitely his name should be out there. And he also goes on to say, Devils can't win without Brodeur.
You know what? Actually, that's been so true because, quite frankly, without Brodeur, what have the Devils done since then? About
He's the
zero.
greatest goalie of all time. So
I mean, they have not done anything without him. They haven't even found a decent backup for Brodeur ever. Like, I mean, hell,
he didn't need it.
Well, not only that too, but they haven't even decently found the right guy to just kind of like polish his skates. I'm not going to say fill them, but polish them. Honestly,
Corey Schneider on given
He's
night.
doing a good job.
Yeah, on
He's
a
doing a
given
good job
night.
this
I'm not saying he's God's grace to women over here in the net, but he's been pretty solid, pretty consistent. So, probably the first one since Brodeur is my point.
Since Brodeur,
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
go with that one.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of rocking the tandem, though. Between him and Kincaid, it's kind of been a tandem.
I mean, Kincaid's been playing really well right now.
Yeah, but it's been that going on the hot hand sort of deal, like the Flyers on that side.
Snyder, he's doing the same thing that Gibby's doing right now. He just can't seem to stay healthy.
And that's the one thing that's been killing him all this time.
Day-to-day bullshit. Stop rushing him back.
If Schneider never does anything in the NHL, it's because of that, because he will never be able to stay healthy. All right. What?
I'm reading it too.
Please, fill me in.
Chrome chimed in on Facebook Live saying McDonald is Maddie's Tito Santana.
Yes, he is. It used to be Luke Shen, but you know what? Now it is Andy McDonald. He has taken the place of my Tito hatred that Chrome has. By the way, if you ever want to know what that is, please tune into Lazy Booking, and you will find out firsthand account what that is all about from Mr. Chrome himself, about his ever so enjoyable hatred of Tito Santana.
Oh, man, that's great.
Arriba. Anyway, on
Chrome.
to the Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals, 3-2. Hell yes. And the victory for the Panthers, like Brian was saying, just awesome. Putting the Flyers 1 point out of first place. And the Predators absolutely just taking the Sharks to the whooping room and spanking them 7-1. Whew. My God. Damn.
He goes on to say everybody has a Tito. #schmuck.
Oh, that's freaking great.
Oh, I tell you what, though. I mean, Predators have been playing some really good hockey lately. They just exploded in the third period for 4 goals.
Oh, my God. Nick Bonino getting his 9th goal. Scotty Hartnell getting his 10th. Fiala getting his 19th. Arvidsson 22nd. Ryan Johansson getting his 8th. Ekholm getting his 8th. And Yarncroke getting his 15th. Whew.
Yarncroc, I can't stand that guy. He killed us. He killed us in Game 6.
There we go. We found somebody else you hate.
Ah!
There we go.
No, I'm just kidding.
Quick
I
half
would
step
never.
back about the Florida Panthers. I'm not surprised that they got back in that game because second half of the year they've definitely been showing improvement, especially on that number 1 line. You got Sasha Dadonov, Barkov, and Bukestad. That's been a solid line, and Vincent Trocheck's been playing out of this world. So, I mean, they got a future down there in the Sunrise.
The one thing that I think the Florida Panthers need to do is get Nick Bukestad back on the scoring sheet more often. It was only his 11th goal of the year tonight.
Right.
Was the game-tying goal, but yeah, they need to find him back on the score sheet, and I think Florida can get right back into this. They're not far off from having a team that can contend for the playoffs.
All right. So, to dive into the hate wagon as we were finding out who else you hate in the world, David Roska chimed in as well, saying, I hate the Kings. Makes sense. Devil, I hate Montez, Ford. And Bianca attacking Mandy, I hate Queens.
I'm out of the loop on that one.
Oh, man. All right. All right, David. And then he also went on to say, I hate Kings and Devils and Preds and Lucy. All right, you know what? I will. We have something in common, David. You are still awesome because you hate the New Jersey Devils. Thank you.
See, I'm a lot like Brian in other sports, but when it comes to hockey, you know this from knowing me, but just in case no one's ever heard me on the show, I haven't been on too much lately, but if you're not wearing orange and black, I just despise you, and I think you're a scumbag and should die in hell.
Yes, I'm safe.
So that means Mikey's in trouble.
No, not fans. I'm saying players.
Oh, okay.
You know, you're talking about who you hate, like teams. Like,
okay,
I can grow appreciation for other players and other sports, but I don't know. I'm just very one-sided in hockey. Not that you all needed to know that.
Oh,
There's
no,
nothing wrong with that.
It's always important. Please feel free to spread the hatred here on A2DRadio.com here on the Hockey Happy Hour. This is what it's all about, hating somebody and hating other teams. That's what it's all about here in the world of sports. All right, so with 10 minutes left, I'm going to dive into something I wanted to talk about because I had a few things to say, and this pissed me off.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the Olympic tournament for the ladies in the hockey world, the United States faced Canada, and it is the biggest rivalry in women's hockey, and it's something that I look forward to every year because it definitely is something that we talk about NHL rivalries being fierce. Oh, my God. You talk about a fierce rivalry. I don't know how many things can top in this modern era of hockey. I don't even think there's NHL rivalries that can really top the hatred these two have for each other.
Fierce.
The U.S. and Canada, oh, my God. They despise each other.
As you know, I've been assigned to watch a lot of Olympics lately, so any information you need, I'm like a resource for you. But yeah, no, very fierce. Just I haven't watched that well-played, highly competitive game in quite a long time. I don't men's, women's, drafts, unicorns. I don't care what game. Honestly, it just how you watch like women's soccer, other women's sports, and you grow appreciation for some fine female athletes. There was a point in that game, and not too far into that game, where I stopped seeing female athletes and I just saw hockey players grinding it out, playing an NHL-level style on both men's and women's side in this tournament, and it led to some bad blood, as I think you're alluding to, Maddie.
It did, because after the end of the game, make a long story short, and spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, so feel free to click off for a minute and then click back on. The U.S. did beat Canada in a shootout to accomplish a feat that they have not accomplished since the Nagano Olympics. They actually won the gold medal, so congratulations to the U.S. women getting the job done for the first time, long time, getting a gold at the top of the medal stand. Canada had to settle for the silver. One player did not settle for the silver. Actually, it was one of the Canadian defensemen, Jocelyn Larocque.
Yep.
Immediately after she got the medal draped over her, she took it off. Where the fuck do I begin with that? All right, now let me explain something. There are how many women who play hockey in the world who will be on teams that will never see a medal a day in their life because they don't have the same foundation you have, being from the nation that created hockey and gave it to the world. They would love to say, I did win a Canadian silver medal for a Olympic silver medal for my country because that was all my team could get because we were facing a powerhouse like Canada. That means a lot to somebody who would never have seen it. For you to just take it off and not matter and it didn't mean a damn thing to you, that is a fuck you to the Olympics. And that's a fuck you to the team that beat you. That's a show of unsportsmanlike show right there. Yes, I understand you're upset that you lost the gold medal, and that's fine. But in 2010, when the U.S. men lost to the Canadian Olympic team, and I was beyond pissed because it had to be Crosby that won that fucking game, but did any of the U.S. pro players take their silver medal off in pissed off mode? No. Even Ryan Miller, who looked as dejected as possible, did not take his silver medal off. That was a show of respect, saying, you know what? You were the better team. We're this close, but you were the better team. And you know what? You have no fucking excuse for taking the medal off. You want to know why? Because you play for goddamn Canada. Do you know how many times Canada wins the gold medal in the Olympics? Oh, I don't know, like every fucking time the Olympics roll around?
They were going for the 5th time in the row, which hasn't been done since the Soviets went to do it in 1980, and they too were unsuccessful. Kind of ironic, though.
Yes.
And it was 38 years to the day. But anyway,
that is kind of funny, and funny how they lost to the U.S. But
right.
still, though, like it is a show of unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, and to even back off of that, the Soviet team, did they take their silver medals off? No. Yes, they had the medal ceremony afterward, but you know what? They didn't take their silver medals off. Yes, were they looked down upon by the rest of their country and by their countrymen, which was inappropriate? Yes. But they never took their medals off. They understood that, yeah, we lost. We lost to the better team.
Maddie, I'm so thankful that you brought this up and made this point, because I posted up on social media earlier how I thought it was a sign of lack of sportsmanship and them being a sore loser, right? And I got attacked, right? And I get it, right? You win a gold medal, you win a bronze medal, you lose and get a silver medal. You don't really win a silver medal, you lose. I get it, and I get them being upset. The U.S. women were dejected as well, but they kept it on at least for the ceremony as a sign of respect to the other team. These two teams don't respect each other, so I'm not expecting to see that or whatnot, but I get it. You know, second place is the first loser. I get that. And you know, maybe you're not going to honor that silver medal. The 2014 team for USA, the ladies, didn't honor that silver medal either. But that was my gut reaction. And then after hearing all this counter side, I'm like, I'm probably wrong on this. You know, maybe, you know, so you're so emotional. You're so, you know, you've been working 4 years to get to this point. You know, I get that. So I do see both sides, but thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Because honestly, though, to me, you don't ever see any other athletes do it. And yes, did the U.S. women team do it? They did, and rightfully so. That was unsportsmanlike on their part, and that's not right on their part. You don't honor the silver medal. You basically just slapped in the face the team that.
Well, they were dejected, but I don't think did any of the U.S. women take it off at least. I mean, maybe like the minute that it was done, yank. And I get that.
But
you know
not
what I mean?
while it was happening, while they were going down the line and putting the medal around you, you know?
Well, I mean, you look at that dirty hit, you know, to the head of, what was it? Oh, my goodness, I can't believe I'm not spacing on her name right now. Decker, right in front of the net, right? It shows there's really not much respect between these two teams because, I mean, they've been battling each other since Nagano, since the first time there was a ladies' tournament. So, I mean, it's bad blood, son.
It is, but at the same time, though, it's the same equivalent of when Milan Lucic threatened to kill somebody in the line. And you went on a tirade about that when that happened, you know?
Yes.
Because that's disrespectful, because it was a time-honored tradition in the NHL where you shake hands at the end of a match, at the end of a series, because you fought to the last end, but you were not the better team. And all I have to say about that is a disrespectful act on her part. And anyone who defends her actions, it's just like, you know what? Then are you the type of person who would throw down a second-place trophy in front of the people who made the trophy and handed it to you and said, fuck you, I came here to win first place. I don't give a fuck. Everybody else can go suck a dick because I didn't win? That's called being a big fucking baby. That's called being a bad fucking sport, and that's unsportsmanlike. That's bullshit. Someone needs to call that out. That's bullshit. You shouldn't have yanked your medal off right there as they were going down the line and handing you your silver medal. Respect the team that beat you and have it around your neck. When you go back in the locker room and you take it off then, that's fine. That's in the locker room. You're upset. You're angry. I get it. Don't do it in front of them. That's a sign of a fuck you, I don't like you, and I'm just going to do it just to stick it to you. That's a bullshit, dirty thing to do. The game's over. It's too late to change it.
Well, congratulations, Hillary Knight. You know,
yes.
Megan Dugan, the Lamoureux sisters. Jocelyn set a record in men's or women's, scored 2 goals and separated by 6 seconds.
Wow.
Never been done in Olympic history.
I mean, all that said, though, congratulations to the U.S. women's team and to the other Canadian players. Congratulations on at least having the class to not do that. At least you didn't follow her in doing that. Thank you for not doing that. That is the decent thing for you to do. Before we head this one out, kind of ending on a bit of a sour note, I hope that wasn't a bad one to end it on. But, Brian, I got to ask, before we send this one home, your thoughts?
I'm not touching this one.
You're not?
We're going to have to extend the show if I do.
All right. Feel free to jump in anytime you want to next show to correct me if you think that I am being wrong in calling her out for being an unsportsmanlike asshole at that moment. Just saying. All right. So with that being said, Hockey Happy Hour, last call, brought to you by Liscanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. This has been the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Tsutsuti. That's Brian Daly. And that was Rob Povia behind the boards, and we will see you all next time on A2DRadio.com.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.